So there are a lot of times in therapy when someone comes and asks that why is it that I am attracting emotionally unavailable people, right? Because the main goal of being in a relationship or in any sort of connection is that I want to be happy, I want to be fulfilled, I want to feel that sense of completion or be in a connection where I am respected and I am being valued. So then the question comes down to, am I consciously then attracting people who make me unhappy or who make me constantly beg and chase them? Uh, or what is it? Like, where am I going wrong? We'll be talking about reasons as to why emotionally unavailable people often have such a powerful hold on us. First reason can be familiarity. Our brains are wired to recognize patterns, right? And if a pattern feels familiar, then it is likely to believe and trust that, yeah, this is the normal that is there. Rather than something new and novel where it would have to think or put more attention or put more energy into understanding what it really means. So, if emotional distance and if emotional vulnerability was something that was very inconsistent in our childhood, or that was not given freely, or that was given inconsistently, then that is the normal for our brain, right? So that is the reason then when that emotionally unavailable relationships and connections can feel very normal to us, right? Rather than if you end up comparing it with the emotionally available connection where care, love, and connection is always there and it's very consistent, the brain will have a difficult time adjusting to it or even accepting it, because healthy relationship then can feel very unfamiliar, because then it does not match what the brain is expecting the relationship to go the relationship to go in a way, or the direction it has to go, or the way the person has to behave or act, right? Sometimes another reason can be that we risk being vulnerable, or we fear vulnerability, right? Vulnerability or real intimacy asks us to express our needs with the awareness that it may when we express our needs, we may or may not risk rejection, right? With our needs might be rejected, our risk might not be rejected, but it's a risk that you end up taking. But when you really are vulnerable, you express your needs, your beliefs, your values truthfully and honestly. So, if vulnerability felt unsafe in the past, then the emotionally available person can actually feel more intimidating rather than the emotionally unavailable person, because the unavailable person will not ask you to be vulnerable, will not ask you to leave your comfort zone, will not ask you to leave that boundary that you would have created for yourself in order to keep yourself and your feelings safe. The emotionally unavailable connection exists can exist in a shallow form or in shallow, inconsistent, sporadic ways, right? It will not ask you to show the real you, and nor will it even be interested in seeing that. It is okay with surface level talking and connection and existing. So another reason can be fear of abandonment. Now, if love was something that had to be chased, that had to be begged for, or something that always made you be on your toes, then you will always have that feeling in your life, even in your adult relationship as well, right? And you will always end up feeling that, what if they end up leaving me? That's why I have to be on my best behavior, right? And that's why I might have to overcompensate, constantly reassure them, or constantly seek reassurance from them that we are fine, that everything is going okay. End up chasing the other person's love, affection as well, because you will end up feeling that because it is given in such less amount, you will have to work hard for it, or you'll have to chase it instead of you getting it naturally, right? So over time, the relationship becomes less about mutual efforts and more about you trying to play the role of always being there or always showing up. and you giving 90% of the effort in the relationship, or 95, and them showing 5%, or sometimes even negligible amount of efforts in the relationship. Finally, the last reason why emotionally unavailable people have a hold on us is that we end up playing, or we are master at playing the rescuer's role. Now, if you have grown in dynamics wherein you have to be the one who always took care of others, helped them, or basically became their superman, then this is a role you will naturally end up adapting to or playing even in your adult relationship as well, right? You will end up taking care of them, you will always end up babying them. Maybe you will end up going out of your way to make sure that they are okay, whilst you sacrifice your own needs. You will end up also start believing that this is how a normal relationship is bound to look like, and you are always supposed to be loving for two. End up also believing that your love can change the other person, that if you are just a bit more understanding, if you can just hold space for them a bit more, if you can just maybe adjust a little more, if you can just maybe control your anger, not express your needs that much, not overwhelm them with your emotions or with your stress, then maybe the relationship will work. We often assume that we are choosing what will make us happy, and that is sometimes true as well. But something that makes us happy does not necessarily mean that it is right for us, right? Sometimes we are choosing based on what feels familiar rather than what is really safe. And sometimes the because it has we have seen these dynamic play out in our childhood or early connections as well, that's why we feel that they are normal. Real intimacy asks us to be seen, right? It asks us to say what we really are saying, rather than hiding behind the curtain of being the cool person, or being the person who always ends up adjusting or overcompensating. Healthy relationships are not projects that you need to work on or that you need to excel in. Simply a connection where you need to be who you really are, and they need to be who they really are, and both need to accept or come to a space wherein they are okay existing in their imperfect versions of themselves.